I was asked to sort of look at the big picture, if you will, from the STEM community perspective as representing a funding perspective. That is, why is interdisciplinarity important in shaping the future of the S&T community, and what it means for educating majors for the future S&T community, etc. As you heard last night from Jim Collins, especially during his period at the National Science Foundation, the NSF certainly continues to be committed to continuing to enable the scientific and engineering community to both support on the research side, but also to develop and train a workforce for emerging fields and new fields to support cutting-edge research. These emerging areas, some already vibrant and existing, but as you know, are often interdisciplinary in nature and include, let's see if we have this, yep, and well known by the conversations over the last couple of days: climate change, cybersecurity, sustainable environment, energy, etc. Future opportunities in these areas are informed, as you also know, by forward thinking of expert leaders in STEM education and research, such as yourselves here today. The recent publications have been mentioned, and you know what they all say about the increasing criticality of interdisciplinarity, so I won't go into that further. And so the topic of this meeting, interdisciplinary learning in STEM, represents an important domain of particular interest on the research and education side of what we've been funding at NSF. And what I'm going to focus on is creating and fostering the institutional infrastructure needed to support interdisciplinary learning in STEM, and just give you examples of some of the things that we've done. This aligns directly with some of the stated objectives of this project. And so in a sense, one might think about 3 I's: innovation, institutionalization, and integration. When we talk about innovation, campuses really do, and that's the also thrust of what we've been engaging in conversation over the past couple of days, but campuses have to be much more innovative in the process of change, we believe. Business as usual is not going to quite cut it anymore in terms of the types of research, especially emerging interdisciplinary areas of research, and in types of the students that we have to both educate for the purpose of being 21st century educated and for career considerations as well. And so we want to challenge you to put innovative thinkers near the top of your list for student learning goals. After you've engaged campus-wide discussions about what this might mean, continue to examine your own policies and practices and programs to see if any support or discourage student innovative thinking. So that's the I of innovation. The second one would be institutionalization, and we've talked about that profusely over the past couple of days. I was struck by a comment, I think, made by the first panel this morning. I think one of the presidents mentioned that who you start out with isn't necessarily who you'll end up with in this interdisciplinary work. And sometimes you might have to replace faculty, etc. And I'd like to extend that thinking in terms of the value of stakeholders and the point in time in which they partner with an institution institutionalizing interdisciplinary work on that end. And that is to say, some partners by mission and by definition are only going to be catalyzers. That's the nature of what they do. Others are going to be there for the long haul, but all of these play an important and critical role. Then the issue of integration. As a good colleague says, you got to know what's happening in order to integrate, but you also have to have someone who knows why integration is critical. And this might loop back to student learning goals, for example, and this is where notions of systems thinkers become quite important, and we've heard a lot about system thinking over the past couple of days. And so these I's actually constitute 3 essential features of an NSF activity that I got off the ground a couple of years ago, and we dubbed it I-cubed, that is innovation through institutional integration. And the main point there was pretty straightforward. That is that significant synergistic potential can be ignited when scholars and educators in related disciplines work together. And in this instance, when NSF-funded projects are linked to leverage their collective strengths. And so this was the challenge of getting I-cubed off the ground, which is inherently an effort to increase synergy and collaboration across NSF-funded projects within and between institutions, and hopefully not only NSF projects, but any projects that are supported, receive external or internal funding, and contribute to the focus of a particular activity. This increased activity leads towards an educational environment free of the majority of the artificial boundaries and promising a more integrated student experience. And I was struck by the conversations this morning about one way to gather everybody from their silos towards greater interdisciplinarity is to frame it in terms of in the interest of the student, undertaking these efforts in the interest of the students. A number of awards fit directly with the topic here today, and I'll just give you a few examples. Vanderbilt University recently received an I-cubed award in participation with Fisk University, and it has established a master's to PhD bridge program in physics and astronomy, but is now pushing the innovation to a new partner beyond its geographic borders. That is, Delaware State has just become a partner in this activity. And the focus that's driving it, the research focus that's driving this I-cubed project is that of material sciences. Here, collaborative scientific research serves as the glue between institutions and as a string through which students flow more seamlessly across institutional divides, thus laying a foundation for truly understanding how best to design the model at other and different institutions. And then there's one that someone mentioned earlier, that we have community colleges represented. In Hawaii, there's the Kapiolani Community College that's creating what they call a formal STEM enterprise with the inclusion of STEM objectives into the 5 outcomes of the institution's strategic plan. We've been talking about embedding interdisciplinarity into strategic plans, etc. And they've also created a newly certified cross-disciplinary association of science and natural sciences degree. This enterprise that they have underway acknowledges the importance of a faculty development component for institutionalizing the college's efforts, and therefore systematically provides release time for STEM faculty to fulfill individual development plans through research, summer institutes, online hybrid STEM courses, and by mentoring undergraduate research interns. They've actually developed a tool to measure STEM institutionalization. Results provide a baseline measure of STEM institutionalization and data to guide and develop strategies for implementing a 3-year math and science department tactical plan for creating organizational, administrative, and programmatic excellence in infrastructure. As a comparative tool, the results that are accrued will be compared in the years 2011 and 2012. One of the institutions represented here today that seems to keep skipping a slide here is CUNY. Just one back. There we go. And I've had a pleasure of meeting with representatives today. They just got an I-cubed Incubator award. It's called City Tech I-cubed Incubator. interdisciplinary partnerships for lab integration, and it aims to integrate across many different organizational structures and levels. Integration of lab content, technology, and pedagogy between different schools and departments, integration between upper and lower divisions of study, integration across existing NSF-funded projects, as I mentioned earlier, and the integration of external industry partners. This incubator focuses on the lab experience of students, both in the classroom and in industry internships. And in order to respond to the changing needs of the work market today, the incubator aims at creating innovations in lab content, lab pedagogy, and lab technology. This need is addressed by introducing expressly interdisciplinary case studies. We've talked about case studies a bit today, and they have one already in progress, a bioinformatics case study that bridges the biology department in the School of Liberal Arts and Sciences and the computer systems department in the School of Technology and Design, and supports the theme of computational thinking, which is a strong need in today's industry, thus also integrating with student industry internship experiences. Just for purposes of representation, I show a list of other IQ projects and the kind of things that are being supported there. Cyber infrastructure and a communication model at UTEP. Incentive awards for advising. We've heard a lot about incentive awards today for faculty, graduate, and undergraduate students at CUNY, Hunter College, which I also believe may be represented here today. Curriculum integration and research experiences for undergraduates at North Carolina A&T. STEM community seminar series to foster interdisciplinary research, teaching, and student support. And STEM sustainability themed master's level courses incorporating modeling as a core pedagogical technique. And so this just gives you an overview. We have almost 30, in 2 years' time, we have almost 30 recipients of this iCubed award that is expressly designed to help break down some of the silos, and these are self-prescribed projects. The applicants and the awardees decide what it is that's relevant to the mission of their institution that they want to undertake, and they get the catalytic funds from NSF over a 5-year period to do so. As everyone has said here earlier today, we know that these kinds of changes don't take place overnight, as it were. One of the things that people continue to mention, and has been mentioned here, challenges to creating and fostering the institutional infrastructure include issues related to possible reorganization of programs, schools, and colleges, issues of size and complexity of collaboration. One size doesn't fit all, one challenge doesn't fit all. Something mentioned in the background material here, securing buy-in at all levels of the institution. At the middle levels, dealing with the deans, the department chairs are very critical in blending grassroots commitments, if you will, with commitments from top leadership. And the need for to appropriately track the data to keep up with the progress and inform recalibration when needed.